pick off those overlords and wants to maintain good control over the vision in that area of the map, and Idra's continue to advance forward. I mean, with this many infestors and the range on the neural parasite, it is so difficult for Protoss to be able to combat that, and it looks like we're not even going to see Huk go for any of that. He's going to trust that his maxed army is better than Idra's maxed army.
Yeah, and how quickly will Idra be able to repopulate his army? Quite quickly. We do have a couple of corruptors out, and the Greater Spire is done, so we have Broodlords currently spawning in. Looks like he's going to try to come in here and take out this gold. Will probably force a cancel.
Man.
The Colossus are nowhere to be found, and there it goes.
And it wasn't canceled. We see that Huk was below 400 after that Nexus disappeared. So at this point in time, it looks like, Zergling dropping the main, one of the most popular tactics in SC1, popping up now. The more the Protoss ends up expanding around, the more that this can become very effective, but it looks like Huk not going to let any of that funny business happen, thanks to Blink and Idra swinging through the middle of the map to try to do a big push. There's not really anything to be able to deal with the Neural Parasite on those Infestors, and it looks like some Force Heals get thrown down, and he does end up pulling back out, but Idra is not done yet. He is heading up towards this north expansion. We see that he is continuing to get the 3-2 upgrades, swarming up here, going for the Photon Cannons. All the Blink Stalkers trying to make their way up, but it looks like the Infestors have not been able to get in a good position on the map, but either way, Idra does not even care. He is just ripping through the north expansion. All the probes are gone. 47 probes versus 74 drones for Idra. Looks like Huk has managed to clear it out, but will not be replenishing any probes anytime soon. He is going to be continuing to produce nothing but units.
And one of the things that was absolutely awesome about the positioning of Huk's army is that he was able to sit on the edge of that gold base and blink back into his main base in order to actually be, to do the damage and deal with those Zerglings. So Infestors all alone. Oh my gosh. We do see the Banelings coming out. We get some Fungals. The
No Neural Parasites at all. The Carpet Bomb does some huge damage, but all the Colossi are alive and well. Idra misclicks severely in that attack with those Infestors. No need to engage. They're taking some serious damage. There's the Guardian Shields going down. Broodlords now very vulnerable. Huk with the one-shot action rips through them with relative ease. And look at this. 80 Zerglings were in production. Another 40 out right now. And the Corruptors pulling apart those Colossi. The Zerglings coming in to save the day. How rare, Wheat, that you see the Zerglings as the one unit that lets the Zerg stay alive instead of the Broodlords, instead of those Roaches. Just a huge macro of Idra at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. The Carpet Bomb did do really good. You saw how quickly it eliminated some of those Stalkers. He did also take out all the Colossus with the Corruptors that he had, but he lost all the Broodlords, which was a pretty major hit to his army. Now, the fact that we have Idra on 5 base is good, but Huk with that gold base, that's a little bit scary and something I think Idra wants to try to deal with. We see another pack of Zerglings loaded up into an Overlord for a drop, possibly in the main, and that look.
The Observer, the one that Idra did not manage to kill earlier on, is back, and he is spotting drops and taking names.
I like how I just dropped those 6 Zerglings. Go, boys! And oh no, Infestor's out of position, but they will get a nice fungal off in there, and it will end. They'll blink out of there. But again, note this area right here with these Stalkers. Again, if there is any sort of aggression in the base, the Stalkers can so easily blink into the main base, take care of it, and come right back. Show knowing that knowing that we will see the Stalkers move on over. Now Stalkers are going to be in range. Stalkers move on over. Now Stalkers there, we still see a lot of them getting taken out here from the Broodlings, being chased away. Where is he moving his army then? As he's letting it, there we go, to the outside. He's going to actually kind of sacrifice this gold base as he lets the Broods move in. Also the Infestors over there on the right side.
Oh yes,
could
so
stop.
dangerous.
Oh,
he's moving forward with, oh, this is so smart. He's advancing with the non-Blink Stalker units, so that way he doesn't get caught with a fungal growth and lose that expansion. But it looks like Idra continuing to spot well on the left side of the map is going to catch all of these probes off guard, and they will be dying so fast with that 3 attack upgrade. The left expo is going to get canceled. Huk will live on this center expo, but gosh, I don't think I've ever seen that many Broodlords in my life, Wheat, and with the fungal growth plus Broodlords on the Stalkers is going to be lights out.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of probes did go over there to try to supplement the income there at the gold base. Nexus goes down easy. Everything else will go down as well, but God, the ground army of Huk is so ridiculous. 192 is the supply count, and a lot of that supply is those Broods right there. And I'll tell you what, get caught out of position just a little bit with those Blink Stalkers, and we can just see a catastrophe in the making. More Corruptors out as well. They will help versus the Colossi. And here,
an uncharacteristic misclick there by Idra. We do see the Nexus now going down for Huk at the left side of the map, and Huk doing his characteristic long-range mining while getting hallucination. Ooh, a late-game hallucination. You don't generally see this sort of unit, that sort of ability get used late, but, you know, I'm just so impressed with Huk's ability to keep up that sentry count. Almost all of those are maxed on the energy.
And we do still have, or we had another group of Overlords full of Lings making their way over to his opponent's base. They are going to go ahead and drop in right here. There's just a few Zealots back here, and again, I like this from Huk. Not a big sacrifice to leave some Zealots in there to try to do some damage. Does look like the Lings will go ahead and take those guys out, work on some pylons here, and depending on what he actually takes away, oh my gosh, here come the Broodlords, the blink underneath them, and this could be bad. Banelings will come in, do a lot of damage to those front Stalkers, but the Brood numbers are
oh my goodness, it looks like Huk just using his superior Stalker count to just pop right underneath those Broodlords. He's just going to take all of that damage right in the face. The Banelings, the fungal growths, he's letting those Zerglings rip apart his main because he has crushed Idra's main army and has some hallucinated Colossi out as well.
Wow. Seeing that many Broods die can make any Zerg speechless. So we're going to see him continue. He's taking a third and fourth base. Zergling's out once again. He will stop that final Zergling who was doing some damage. And now the attack on the gold. What sort of defense do we have? Not much. 2 Broodlords on the way. 3 Corruptors. But that is about it. Where's the rest of his army? A few Corruptors and trapping those very expensive Infestors. He doesn't take them out. More Zerglings streaming in to that western natural, the fourth, of Huk. And Huk's Zerglings actually doing a ton of damage all over the map. But what about that giant death ball that Huk is still roaming around the map with?
I mean, it looks like Huk is rapidly running low on units. I mean, he's getting the 2-2 upgrades, but this one Forge does not have any power, so now he finally ends up getting that +2, Chrono boosting that one away as well. But, I mean, Huk is almost forced to be defensive at this stage. It looks like Huk just went to kill the gold and pull right back. He doesn't want to get too deep into Zerg territory for fear of a counterattack or just too many units.
And we see some Banelings, unfortunately, living a short life there as they are taken out. Tried to go after those probes. We are going to see an Overlord coming in. Oh no, was he going to drop? Well, he did manage to get the probes away from that base, but he was carrying exactly nothing. As we see the Broodlord count increasing yet again. Corruptors are thrown in there as well. The Stalker count is much, much lower now. So what will happen here in this battle?
Looks like Huk is going to be pulling back, trying to warp in more Stalkers, but like you said, his Stalker count is low. He cannot warp in that many more, and Idra just has a seemingly endless torrent of Broodlords coming. I mean, he's had hundreds of Broodlords made this game at the very least, and oh my gosh, Void Rays now out on the field, and it looks like there's some Zerglings doing a counterattack in the main. The Void Rays, all hallucinations, doing absolutely no damage whatsoever. There's the blink up onto the high ground, just trying to distract Idra. Those hallucinated Void Rays almost fully charged, Wheat. And Idra left the game.
Oh.
Oh my goodness, Idra. Now, when I first played Brood War, someone said, wouldn't it be funny if you hallucinated a bunch of carriers and your opponent just left? That is what we just saw here at MLG.
Yeah.
There's a ton of hallucinated Void Rays in the actual army battle.
And can we actually go back to the game screen real quick? Because just take a look at this. We saw the Stalkers come up here, start to target fire these Broodlords, and if you look down here, there's only a couple of Stalkers and a ton of sentries that would have died oh so quick to that, including their ability to take out those Colossi right there. All the rest of the Stalkers were over on that ramp trying to get back around. And the supply is actually higher for Idra, 182 to 155. I think that's exactly what we saw here, and we actually talked about that yesterday.
And I mean, the energy on these infestors, enough to throw down some fungal growth. These corruptors could easily begin working their way on these Colossi because, I mean, what are you really going to do against the Broodlords? I mean, really, really a little bit of a blunder there by Idra, not actually playing it out to the very end, losing to hallucinated Void Rays. So we will be going on to the final game three.
Wow,
that was against Idra.
That was pretty amazing right there.
I would not have expected that to be the plan of Huk when choosing Metalopolis.
No, not at all. And who knows, it would maybe not have been his plan at all, but at the time it seemed really good. Like, oh, well, hey, maybe I'm hiding a bunch of Void Rays that are going to come in. And, you know, when you think about it, right, I've got the Stalkers.
Total sense.
That's good. Right, but he keeps throwing Broodlords at me. So, you know, his Corruptor count hasn't been so high. Void Rays would do some damage.
Yeah, especially against a Zergling, Baneling, Broodlord player.
Right.
You'll notice that none of those units are very good at shooting up. So, I mean, again, the trick by Huk was so smart, but I think that Idra, again, is going to be reeling from that loss because I think he clearly had an advantage in that game.
I think so. I mean, the food advantage was pretty obvious, and guys, we're going to be going on to the third and final map there. Now, for those of you just who are still kind of like, what exactly happened? Remember, when the players leave the game, the replay will just indeed stop, so there was no GG.
There was no GG in that game. Idra, characteristically departing from the game, just ready to go on to game two, without any sort of good game in the slightest. But either way, let's go into game three right now because we are all tied up with Liquid Huk against EG's Idra. Players battling it out for that first place spot in their group. So important. Number one seed in the group bracket advances directly to the winners' semis. We do have Huk spawning here in the right position as the red Protoss. Marcus, you know, I saw you wearing a Zerg shirt the other day. I understand you're a bit of a Zerg fan.
I seriously want to cry right now, just a little bit, man.
That's okay. You can sob all you want.
Just a little bit.
This is the last match of the night.
Pretty crazy. Yeah. Pretty crazy. You know, and hold on. While I cry, let me give some props to Huk. I mean, that was very, very smart.
Well.
Oh, man, you know what? StarCraft is not only a very intensive mental game, but it can be psychological as well. And I'll tell you what, that is another... You ever heard of going full tilt in poker before?
Yeah, and you know...
It can happen in StarCraft,
Let's check
too.
his APM. No, he's actually playing at his usual 200. Seems in control of his faculties physically. But let me tell you something. That is kind of a painful realization because that, I think, has happened to everyone, where you leave the game because you're convinced of something that actually isn't real. You think he has an extra base. You think he has more workers. You might even just think his army is bigger than it is. So Idra now on Shattered Temple, his choice of map. Again, I really do not like playing on this map against Protosses, but Idra has a lot of comfort on this map, claiming that a Roach Infestor mix is very, very potent.
We do have the pool going down, and again, just still kind of in awe about what we just saw. I cannot believe it. I'm glad we did decide to go back and have an esports history moment and